Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I've been recording this video after a gap of almost 4 weeks now. I have been out of my place, and when I returned I thought I must record it. I hope to do it a little more frequently in future. So today's topic is it the right time to invest in real estate sector? Real estate sector, as you know, is booming in our country after having a dull time for last 10 years almost. And so should we look at some of the stocks from this sector and start investing? So before doing that, what I'll do is I'll look at the last 10-year performance of the sector as a whole, and after that I look at the Indian real estate sector scenario, their positives, negatives, what is happening, and how the sector looks going forward. Then I look at few of the stocks from the sector and examine their performance in last 10 years, their price points and all those, and then accordingly we can conclude whether it is time to invest in the real estate sector. So let us talk about performance of NSE Realty Index. NSE has an index known as Realty Index. It aggregates all the realty companies, and which I have plotted here for last 10 years. I have taken data from 1st April 12 to till today, and the blue line shows the reality index, and the grey line is the Nifty 50, which is the market basically. So as you can see here, this sector, reality sector, has been a laggard sector for last decade. It has underperformed the market as a whole. So if somebody had invested in Nifty Realty, he could have earned a return of 6% over last 10 years, which is similar to bank deposit or so. So after taking risk actually. Whereas if somebody had invested in Nifty, he could have got a return of 12%. So very clearly the sector has not performed the way it should have done it. So now the question comes, in such a scenario, should we invest here? Now, as I mentioned in the opening remark, the future looks good, and therefore we must consider and examine and analyze the sector. And if the results are positive of the analysis, then certainly you can take a call. So here is the first set of data points taken from India Brand Equity Foundation. They found robust demand, attractive opportunities, policy support by Government of India, and increasing investment by foreign investors to be the key points for investment in this country. So there is a study done by Savills India real estate demand to data centers is increased by 15 to 18 million square feet by 2025, which is a good number. Demand for residential sector is also huge, particularly affordable housing, and that is growing up very well. Organized retail is going to consume a lot of estates in terms of warehouses and stores, etc. Attractive opportunity. ICRA estimates Indian firms are expected to raise rupees 3.5 trillion through infrastructure and real estate investment trust in 2022, as compared raised funds about 29 billion to date. So a lot of investment required. So the funds are all active. They are trying to really pop up the market and go forward. Private market investor Blackstone is an equity investor who already have committed a lot in real estate. About 3.8 lakh crore they have done, and they are likely to put another 1.7 lakh crore in the sector. Now, companies like Blackstone are well researched. They know what is going to happen. They have got international scenario. From that perspective, that gives us an idea what we should do about the sector. Government of India also had given a lot of policy support to the sector in terms of soft loans, in terms of interest rates, and quite a few other support, which I'll discuss later. And increasing investment. If you look at investment through FDI in 2021, about 2.4 billion funds flew and into real estate assets, a growth of about 52%. Construction is the third largest sector in terms of FDI inflow, and this is likely to grow more going forward. So what we see here is that although the last year, just after COVID and the international scenario, the FDI flow has been sort of slowing down, but relatively in real estate sector it is quite large and continuing. Now let's look at the market. Again, the source is IWF here. Now market size is about 180 billion today, which is likely to be $1 trillion by 2030, which translates into a CAGR of about 18%, which is a huge growth. Now if the market is going to grow And if you invest in the sector, each stock or good stocks, let me say, will benefit accordingly. It may be more than 18% or it will be in that range generally. Now let us discuss about some of the policy supports which India government and other state governments have provided to the sector. As you know, a Smart City initiative, which is a program by central as well as state governments, they are putting about 100 smart city, which will mean more real estate growth actually. Second is about 1.5 lakhs interest benefit. It's continuing to retail investor for procuring residential houses. IT relief to developers as well as house owners, house buyers under Atmanirbhar Abhiyan is also there. And finally, the government of India a couple of years back, they streamlined the sector because the sector was highly fragmented. They had fly-night operators. Today, the large players are there in the market. They have to comply with a lot of government regulations, and chances of running away has become quite low. So, you get builders which are much better compared to earlier situation. So, as you have seen in last two slides, it appears that Indian real estate scenario is quite good. And if you go by law of average, nothing remains mediocre forever. Something which was performing less will perform good going forward. That is the rule of average. And with that rule and this scenario, it appears that Indian real estate is at a good point. So is it the right time? Looks like it is the right time, provided you do a good selection of stock. Before I proceed, I would like to mention here, this video is purely for education purposes. Any stocks which I am going to discuss here is just for example. So before you take decision for investing, do a thorough research, do your own analysis or consult your investment advisor. So to answer your question whether it's the right time, to my mind, yes, it appears the right time. Now there are two ways you can really benefit from this particular scenario. One is you can invest into real estate companies directly like Oberoi Realities, Rahejaz, Godrej, Brigades, etc., etc. DLF, the largest real estate company, one of them or maybe few of them, as you decide based on your analysis. The second way, which I prefer personally, is investing in those companies who are not really in real estate, because real estate is very capital intensive industry and their capital cost is quite high. So you can get the same benefit, but you can invest in industry which are supporting real estate, like company like Astral Limited, Kajaria Ceramics, etc., etc. So what I'll do is, I'm there, price movement in last 10 years and also their relative valuation. Are they available at the right price points? And then accordingly you can decide. I do have investment in few of them, so that I like to preempt before I take you through the deliberations here. So let us do, this is a screener. I have been using a screener earlier. So let's take Godrej Properties first. Godrej Properties Limited. As you know, Godrej is a well-known name, very good management quality. It has got pan-India presence and the quality of construction is very good. It has been taking, it has got a huge parcel of land in Mumbai where the Godrej headquarters is situated. Although, if you look at their ROCE, that has not been very interesting in the last few years. But going forward, as I mentioned earlier, the industry looks good. So hopefully this company will do very well. So when you look at 10 years price movement of this company, generally the return, if somebody bought and held the stock for a long time, he got a good return. It's an upward trend because the grey line is 200 days moving average and yellowish line is about 50 days moving average. It achieved a tough high of let's say 2500, now available at about 1450 or something, around that range actually. So it's a decent discount to the recent high which it has achieved. Now looking at the Godrej pedigree, looks an attractive option at this point in time. Now let's look at their P ratio. Now P ratio I normally use 5 years to understand where the valuation is right. So now here the bars are showing their quarterly profit and the line plotted is P ratio. Dotted line is 5 years average. So 5 years average is about 105 and it is almost today at about 123. So it is a little higher than the 5 years average. So valuation wise it is at value. This is not very cheap stock. And none of the stock in sector like real estate, which is coming up at this point in time, you will get cheap. So Godrej appears to have attractive valuation from that point of view and good pedigree. So if I had to pick up someone, personally I'll pick up maybe Godrej. Because quality of management is very, very important before you take any investment decision. Now let's look at Astral Limited. Now Astral Limited is a mid-sized company. They are in pipe fittings and related materials. So here ROC is 30%, ROE is 23%. And if you look at their price performance in last 10 years, then which appears very interesting. See, it's upward curve which you see here, very sharp, steep in last 2 years, and it achieved a high of all-time high of 2450, and now it is available at about 1800. So decent discount, about 25% discount to the compared to the highest point. And when you look at the P ratio over the years, P ratio for average 5 years P has been around 71, and this is at the same range more or less. So valuation is fair. So Astral, and then you see, look at the performances, continuously performing better and better in all scenario over the last 10 years. Mid-sized company, very good for investment for future perspective also. So it's the right time probably one can take a position in Astral, accumulate at right price and hold for long term. You will reap a very decent benefit. The next stock we are going to discuss is Kajaria Ceramics. Now here again, ROC is 24%, ROE 19%, which is decent, and dividend yield is 0.7%. Now, when you look at the price chart, 10 years price, again Kajaria has got a upward trend. So, you know, stock is all about patience. Investing in stock is patience. So, if somebody bought when the sentiment was very low, you will get a much better benefit. So, typically you should have more courage, and you should enter the market when people are coming out, and you should leave the market when too many people are coming in. So here it achieved the high of 1356, and now it is available at about 1100. So good performing company, and if you invest in this company, reasonably it will do good. Now when you look at the 5 years PE, like from valuation perspective, it is at almost at 40, around P is similar to the 5 years average. So fair valuation, performance is quite consistent. So friends, I have discussed 3 companies in the sector. One was Godrej Properties. You could choose even company. You can examine DLF, you can examine Brigade, you can examine Oberoi, but I'll consider Godrej Management par excellence compared to these companies. And their pan-India presence, good processes, consistent performance certainly makes it a better candidate in my personal opinion. And as I mentioned, please do your own research before you take a call. Second way of doing could be going through companies like Astral and Kajaria. There could be more companies in that space, but these two are the company which appears very exciting to me, and I do have investments. So you could do your own research and choose either 1, 2 or 3 and get a benefit of the boom. So friends, I hope you like this video. If you have not yet subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel, and also share the content to your friends and in your network, so that more and more people can join and get the benefit out of this type of discussions. Please also comment on the video, because your comment is going to tell me whatever video to make, and I look forward to your comment. And thank you so much for your time. Stay engaged and have a great investing experience. Thank you.